So, Nikon has shown its rear to the world and it's got me quite excited. Which is why I'm sharing a room with a monitor, a Z mirrorless and a D5. Yes, we saw a blurry back in the teaser video 1, but it's so much clearer in the second video. So let's take a look at the back of the Z9 and compare it to the Z6 II and the D5. And by the way, when I refer to the D5, I also mean the D6, but as you know, they're virtually identical. Okay, starting from the top left, we can see the little key button, which is used to protect photographs from accidental deletion. On the Z6 II, you access this via the info button, or you can assign the job to function buttons 1 or 2. Now, it's where the playback button normally goes, which is bound to confuse me for a while, but especially as it appears to double up as a 4th function button. But I'm sure I'll learn to adapt. The delete or format button is, thank goodness, in the same place. So that's probably the safest thing to do with me using it, to be honest. The shutter release mode has been popped on to what looks like a taller dial, which I hope has a lock, but I do like the look of it. Working along the top of the back, we have the video, stills, switch, and the display button, which on the Z6 II allows you what information to be shown on the rear screen or viewfinder. On the D5, the button accesses live view and is found down here. But of course the Z9 won't need that, as it appears to have adopted the eyepiece sensor from the Z series. The autofocus on is in the same place as both the Z series and the D5, and the rear dial is integrated into the body a la D5. Now that's unlike the Z series, which had it inset on top of the camera body. The toggle sub-selector remains in place for both cameras, as does the multi-selector. But now the info button is between them, just like the Z. Do you know, I'm really hoping that they keep the Z mini menu access that you can access via that info button. It is so convenient. The 4 buttons, playback, zoom in and zoom out and menu, have now moved to a more Z-like area, largely due to the swivel touchscreen taking up that area that would have been housed the left-hand side buttons. Also, with the car door looking like the D850 rather than the D5, there's more room for them. I am very relieved that there's a lock on the door, but as it's more rounded, the problem I have with the Z cameras seems to have resolved itself. There's a vertical multi-selector, AF on, and command dial, just like the D5. So you won't have any problems using it vertically. Finally, there are 3 buttons along the bottom like the D5. White balance, quality, vertical info, and a button that looks like it could be mic. What do you reckon? We can now see that there's no LAN button, which others have suggested. They said it might be there. It's obviously not there. So I guess what we've got to think of is what we're missing. Well, there's not a lot that I can see. This little bottom panel seems to have vanished, but maybe we no longer need it. What do you think? As for the rest of the Z9 body, there are clearly the 3 front buttons that on the D5 are focus preview and functions 1 and 2. So as I can only see a new FN4 on the back and we've lost our FN3, I reckon that's a fair assumption that we may now have 3 function buttons on the front. So from the first teaser, we got to see that the record, ISO and exposure compensation buttons remain unchanged next to the shutter, which is absolutely brilliant news. I think they're in the perfect position. What intrigues me are the 4 buttons on the other side of the camera here, because there are 3 on the D5 and it's mode, bracketing and metering. So could the 4th be focus mode? Seems possible, and I tell you what, wouldn't that be great? But of course, Nikon's first video was largely about the swivelling rear screen. The whole point of this second teaser, however, is to suggest that the Z9 is able to video at 8K for 1 hour and 20 in the hot African sunshine, without overheating. A cheeky na 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 to its competitors. The exciting thing for me is that it's not restricted to the 30 minutes we've seen with the Z series. So, that's all pretty exciting, isn't it? And I have to say that I feel much more upbeat about the Z9 before. My hopes lie with this thought. Are Nikon teasing us with these videos because they are really confident in their next flagship model? I really hope so. But they've got some tough competition, guys. Some really tough competition coming. I think they could be up to it. Oh, I hope they're up to it. In the meantime, I'm looking forward to being teased by Nikon again soon. In fact, just as I started recording this, another one's been released. So I'm still behind the curve. So I look forward to seeing that one. Hopefully that's about the focus. Okay, thank you so much for joining me for this little shorty, and I hope you enjoy it. And thank you so much for watching. See you soon.